Victoria Allen VoiceOver demo contains commercials, monologues, and poetry reading. Victoria Allen Pizza Hut commercial.
Introducing Pizza Hut's new Dipping Strips Pizza. A box full of diplomatically designed strips that just beg to be dunked into one, two, or three delectable dipping sauces. All just for $9.99 for one topping.
Victoria Allen reading a JCPenney commercial.
Don't know where to start? Great ideas are just a click away. I'm Victoria Allen, and my new collection of home furnishings exclusively at JCPenney is now available anytime on jcpenney.com. So give it a try. Be creative. Turn your home into a haven with a little help from me and jcpenney.com.
Victoria Allen reading a part for Susie, a kid monologue.
Tell me again, Grandma. Tell me about the old times. Tell me the times when you were a young girl growing up on a farm back in Indiana. Tell me about your friends and family and the people in your town. Tell me again, okay? Tell me about the land and the crops and what people did before there were computers and all of the technology we have today. Tell me about your school and your teachers and your studies and the kids you went to school with. How was it growing up way back then? What was it like being so far away in a little house in a little corner of America? How did you spend your time? What was the weather like? Tell me again, Grandma. Tell me all about the summers and the things you did to pass the time. Did you play games? What kind of games did you play? What did you do on the 4th of July? Were there fireworks and bands and parades? Tell me again about the birthdays with homemade cake and homemade ice cream, and how, because you couldn't afford presents, you got a hug for each year. Tell me again. Tell me about the harvesting of the wheat and how the neighbors came to help with the work and big dinners the women cooked. Tell me about the creek that ran beside your house and how you could hear it when you were asleep. And, oh yeah, tell me about Memorial Day, or as you used to call it, Flag Day, because this was the day you decorated the graves. What about the people in the graves? How many had been relatives? How many had been friends? Tell me about Thanksgiving and the family and the food and the conversation around the dinner table. Did great-grandfather carve the turkey? Did anyone say grace? Tell me more about grandfather and how you met. Tell me about your life together and about your first home and your babies, my mom, and aunts and uncles. Tell me again. Talk about the winters and the cold nights and the log fires and the popcorn and apples. Tell me again all about Christmas and about going to Box Hollow to cut the tree on Mr. Congrove's farm. Tell me about the homemade ornaments and the real candles and the angel Aunt Ruth made from the old curtains. And don't forget about Christmas Eve and going to church where you were given a special treat, a tangerine. Tell me these stories again, even if I've heard them before. I don't mind because I love them. So tell me, Grandma, tell me again.
Victoria Allen reading a part for Carrie, a teenage sister monologue.
Since my father walked out, my mom has dated a bunch of guys. At first, my sister and I resented this. I mean, having some man in the house other than our dad seemed out of place and awkward. Not that Mom started seeing other men right away. She waited nearly 2 years before seeing somebody else. I guess when people live together for as long as my mom and dad did and share a lot of stuff through the years, like raising kids and stuff, it isn't easy for them to make adjustments. My sister and I understand this, but it was still pretty weird seeing some stranger sitting in our father's favorite chair. The first guy was a whole lot younger than my mom. He was very handsome and athletic. He got her into skiing and tennis, which was pretty cool, I guess, except it seemed as though she was going out of her way to be as young as he was. Frankly, I thought he was a jerk. He used to sit around checking himself out in the mirror and messing with his hair. Guys who do that are usually losers. I guess maybe she thought so too, because she dumped him after about 3 months. The second man was just the opposite. He was older than Mom and very stiff and proper. I never ever saw him in anything other than a blazer or a necktie. He was like this CEO president or something, and he acted the part. When he talked to my sister and me, it was like he was holding a meeting. Mom saw him for almost 6 months, then suddenly it was all over. We really don't know what happened, but my sister and I joked that maybe he fired her. Then there was Jerry, this big Irish guy who told stories that went on forever. He'd come to the house and sit around and bore the living poop out of us. He was friendly and charming, but he was so full of crap it wore you out. Nobody ever figured out what he did for a living or where he lived. It's my guess that he was sleeping in the back of his van. Thank God Mom didn't hang with this turkey very long. Right now, she's dating her dentist, a real dorky looking guy who dresses like old movies. We call him Mr. Big Cupid. I don't know what she sees in him. Maybe he's getting her a deal on floss. I guess after you're married to a person for a lot of years, it takes a while to feel comfortable with somebody else. From my point of view, from what I've seen of the guys Mom has brought home, I think I'd rather stay single. But she has to do what's right for her, I guess. All I hope is that she'll find someone special, like my dad.
Victoria Allen reading a self-written poem called I Am What Some May Call a Superwoman. I Do It All. A mother, lover, provider, dependable friend. I do all the things a man is supposed to do. I work, solve problems, and pay all the bills. I build, take out the trash, and cut the grass. A lover, childbearer, confidant, supplier of life, of death, of food, an ear and advisor. To give, to receive, to achieve, to believe. One time, tomorrow, forever, for eternity. A provider, barterer, presenter, giver of ends, bags, opportunity, shelter, to purchase, carry, get ahead, move up, for family, self, working and living, a dependable friend, taking away the burden of issues, not fulfilling the status quo, just stepping out on a limb, a superwoman, I do it all, take over the responsibilities, give depth to imagination, open the box of limitation, a superwoman.